Hello students, today we are starting with Geography, Physical Geography of India, lesson number 1. The name of the lesson is India Location. In this chapter, we will be dealing with various aspects of India, the special features of India. As you know, India is a vast country. It extends from Ladakh to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Assam, covering a vast area. The latitudinal and longitudinal extent are of utmost importance. Children, do you know what are latitudes? Latitudes are the parallel lines, the imaginary lines which revolve around the equator and they are parallel to each other. Whereas longitudes are these longer lines which meet near the poles at the North Pole and the South Pole. The grids they form, this gives us the exact location of a country, of a place. Similarly, the location of India extends from 8 degrees 4 minutes north to 37 degrees 6 minutes north. Children, don't you think you should ask why we have north in both the parts? Yes, because the location of India is extremely in the northern hemisphere. India extends from 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degrees 25 minutes east. Again, we are writing east for both the locations. Why? Yes, because we are in the eastern hemisphere. So now children, is it clear that India is located in the northern hemisphere and the eastern hemisphere? The grids forming these latitudes and longitudes, they give us the exact location of India. Now, the difference between the latitudes and longitudes. If we see India, India seems very long but seems less wide. Although the distance between the latitudes extreme north and extreme south is hardly 30 degrees, whereas from east to west again it is 30 degrees. So, don't you think India seems longer but less wider? Yes, the difference is just because of the latitudes and longitudes. See, the latitudes are parallel. Therefore, the distance between the latitudes do not change. Whereas the longitudes, they are meeting at the poles. So, the distance between the longitudes keep on decreasing towards the poles. Hence, this difference. India being a very large country, the latitudinal and longitudinal extent has its own implications. Let's talk about the latitudinal implications of India. When we say India is approximately 29 degrees long, so the areas to the south of Tropic of Cancer, they lie in the equatorial zone, which is also known as torrid zone or the tropical zone. Hence, the regions to the south of Tropic of Cancer, they enjoy tropical climate, whereas the regions to the north of Tropic of Cancer, they enjoy temperate climate. So, just because of this vast latitudinal extent, India experiences various climatic conditions. Isn't it? So, we are very lucky to be having a favorable location on the globe. The latitudinal extent of India favors us in many other ways. It is not only climate, children. We have variety of soils in India. That is just because of the variety of tropical conditions we have. We have variety of vegetation which starts from alpine, tropical evergreen, tropical deciduous, tidal forest, thorn and scrub forest. So, this vast latitudinal extent gives us various favorable landforms, climate, soil and vegetation. As you know, India extends from Ladakh, which is a mountainous region covered with snowfall, whereas in the south we are surrounded by 3 seas, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. In the west, we have desert, which is also known as Marusthali. In the east, we have hilly regions. So, all these favorable locations, all these favorable landforms are just because of the latitudinal extent. Now, let's talk about the longitudinal extent. The longitudes, they are taken for calculation of time. Each longitude is multiplied by 730 to find out the exact time of that particular place. As you know, the sun takes nearly 2 hours to move from Silchar in the east to Porbandar in the west. So, that means if we go according to the longitudes, the time should be different in each and every part of the India, isn't it? But do we have same time? Do we have separate time? No, we have the same time, that is the Indian Standard Time. So, 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude is taken as the standard time of India. Now you must ask, why such a latitude with an odd number? So this is a general understanding between the countries that when we take a longitude, it should be exactly divisible by 730. That is why such an odd value. This 82 degree 30 minutes passed from almost center of India, and Mirzapur is the place where we calculate the time, where we set the time. So, to avoid the confusion of time and to maintain a proper time throughout the country, 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude is taken as the standard meridian of India. Now, when we say India is a vast country, children, do you know what is the area of India? The area of India is 3.28 square kilometers, million square kilometers. India, with such a vast land, it is the 7th largest country in the world. Let's try to find out the countries larger than India. They are Russia, Canada, USA, China, Brazil and Australia. Such a vast country having variety of landforms. If we talk about the northern part of India, we have Himalayas in the north, isn't it? These Himalayas are the most important landforms of India. Since ancient times, these were the high mountains because of which we are safe. We were safe, we were not allowed to cross the Himalayan region. There are few passes like Khyber Pass, Bolan Pass, Nathula, Bomdila, Shipkila. Only through these passes people could travel to India, otherwise the Himalayas were the strategic importance for our country. Then we have Hindu Kush and Sulaiman in the northwestern part. In the Myanmar region we have Purvachals, then the 3 seas in the southern part of India. So this position is known as the most favorable location for India, and India is also known as a subcontinent. Subcontinent because of its vast size. This subcontinent includes the neighboring countries of Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan and Myanmar. These are our neighboring countries with which we share our boundary, national frontiers, whereas other than these countries with which we share our boundaries, we have 2 more southern neighbors, southern island neighbors. The names are Sri Lanka and Maldives Islands. So, India shares its boundary with so many countries, India has so many neighbors, so the whole lot, hence India is known as a Indian subcontinent. Let us talk about the long coastline that we have. India has a very long coastline and the length is approximately 6,100 kilometers. If we do not include the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep Islands in the Arabian Sea. If we include the coastline of those islands also, the islands including the coastline is approximately 7,517 kilometers. Don't you think such long coastline also is very beneficial for India? Of course it is. It gives us a lot of fertile soil. It gives us a lot of aquatic animals, a lot of resources, crude oil. So this fishing area is the richest fishing ground in the world also. India's territorial waters. If we talk about national resources, it is within the political boundary. But when we talk about territorial India, the territorial boundary of India extends into the ocean also. 19.2 kilometers from the coast is our exclusive economic zone, EEZ. No other country is allowed to take the resources from this EEZ. So, the resources found there, they belong to India. They are approximately 200 kilometers, 19.2 nautical miles. Such a huge coastline, 6,100 kilometers long. So, we enjoy many other favorable conditions with such a long coastline. The maritime trade, just because of our location, we can have proper trade with the eastern countries, western countries and southern countries. These coasts, they provide us with rich variety of aquatic resources, crude oil, salt, seaports, hence India is favorably located. If we see from 22 degrees north, India starts tapering down. So that southern part of India is known as a peninsula. Its location is so favorable that other than having a beautiful physical features like Himalayas, northern plains, peninsular plateau, Marusthali, hilly regions, we also have abundant rivers in India. Not to forget river Ganga, river Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna and Kaveri. So India has abundant resources just because of its favorable location. Now, when we talk about India and the world, since ancient times, we were having proper trade with the different parts of the world. Our muslin, our spices, our various things were famous in other countries. This was possible just because of the long coastline, which provides us maritime trade with the help of seaports. So, in this chapter, children, why have I told you about all these things? Because class 11 syllabus deals with India and its various aspects like rivers, climate, soil, natural vegetation and other things. So what have we learned today? The location of India, a favorable location on the globe. If you see on the world map of India, don't you see? Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara. Your India seems to have a separate identity, and that separate identity is because of the landforms like Himalayas in the north, Sulaiman and Hindu Kush in the northwest and the three seas that surround us. So just because of its favorable location, the latitudes and longitudes, we are enjoying such a pleasant climate throughout the country. India is the only country having abundant type of vegetation which ranges really from alpine till tidal, from alpine tundra till thorny. So India enjoys various aspects just because of its favorable location. So children, do not forget the latitudinal location has its own implication favoring the climate. The longitudinal location has its own implication because of which we have a standard time. The coastal regions, they provide us equable climate. They are responsible for the expecting monsoons throughout the year. The Himalayas, they protect us from the cold Siberian winds coming from Siberia. Hence, India is neither a hot desert nor a cold desert. India enjoys pleasant climate because of its location. So, this chapter, do not forget that India is favorably located on the northern hemisphere and the eastern hemisphere and is also known as a subcontinent. So, now I hope you are very clear about all the facts about India. There are few more facts, they are coming on the screen, like India has two types of desert, both cold and hot desert. Tropic of Cancer passes from the center of India, dividing India into almost two equal parts. Which is the cold desert in India? Yes, Ladakh. And which is the hot desert in India? Yes, the Marusthali, the Rajasthan, western part of India. Children, now you know a lot about India. Try to find out more facts about India. The coming chapter will be dealing with physical features of India. The way I have told you about Himalayas, Hindu Kush, Sulaiman, northern plains, eastern western coast. We will be talking about all this in the coming chapter, lesson number 2, Physical Features of India. Jai Hind.